Okay, so let's start that. So we are super excited for this. All of you seem pretty new. Me and Kylie actually used to do Zooms every Friday pretty consistently for like 3-4 months. And then life kind of just kicked us while we were down. So we just kind of had to like get up and keep moving, but we're super excited to start these again. Last week we did the power hour. This week we have a training, and then we have another power hour next Friday. So today we wanted to give you all the tips and tricks on getting your 4K bonus, but also just kind of giving you motivation if you're like brand new or you're not in a place in your business where you want to be right now, because if that's you, we're going to be 100% real. That is also me. You are not alone. If you've been in this business a while and you've like seen the success like a year ago or like 6 months ago, and you're just trying to push back to where you were, also, we completely understand that. We are here with you. We feel that 100%. So we are just going to start with sharing our stories. We're going to do a quick like 2-minute version. We always suggest you guys learn how to like get your story out there in a minute or two. It's one of the hardest things I've had to do because, and I feel like Kylie and when Sam gets on will agree with me, is we're all very long-winded people. We can all talk for absolutely ever. It's our specialty. If it was a talent, I would get first place every single time. But if you guys don't know me, hi, I'm Jillian. I am a diamond leader in the company. I've been in for 3.5 years now. That feels like an insanely long amount of time. I've been doing this business full-time for 2 years now. I joined when I was 19. If you also don't know or you don't follow me, I also struggle with pretty severe chronic pain and chronic illnesses. That is actually why I joined this business. I was talking to Hope for like 6 months prior to joining. Sorry, let me meet somebody. I was talking to my enroller for like 6 months before I jumped into actually enrolling with her. And we always joke that she just caught me when I was like up on all the surgery drugs and just doing the best I can to survive. She's like, hey, it's $20. And I'm like, $20, let me jump on in that. So I jumped in like right after my second knee surgery. And it was the worst time for me to join because I was like going to physical therapy 3 times a week. I was also in a brand new relationship. This business has watched me get my associate's degree and has watched me get married, get a dog, move out, get a car. It's watched my fitness journey. This business has been with me through the most formative. It's been with me through all my adult years. Let's be honest, I was 19. I'm 23 this year. But also, this business has been through some of the hardest points in my life. If you guys don't know, I don't talk about it a lot or on social media because I'm just not that kind of person. But I feel like I'm coming into on this Zoom and as a leader in a very different place than both Kylie and Sam is, because I'm coming from a place where like I am restarting my business. I feel like I'm starting from ground zero. Yes, I'm coming in with like the knowledge and like I know how to do a to-do list and I know what I'm doing, but I also didn't really work my business for 4 months. I posted on my stories, I made life posts, but besides that, I wasn't actively working my business. The beginning of September, my dad was diagnosed in COVID. And then at the end of September, we lost my dad during conference. I was surrounded by my best friends, but we lost my dad. And then I'm still spending most days of the week and most times of the day just trying to like get through to the next point in my day and to the next day of the week. But I'm so excited to be here because y'all, I'm running for this 4K bonus, just like everybody else is. Me and my husband, we're pushing. We are manifesting that this bonus is paying for our 3-year anniversary trip in May. We're just all the manifesting. But that is my short little like 2 to 3 minute story. I'm gonna have Kylie. I think you can unmute yourself, but I'm not sure. I can also unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. Hi. How are you guys? I'm so excited to be here. And I'm really excited to be doing this series with you guys. We're just ready to bring the fire. So I hope that you guys buckle up and stay tuned. But yeah, I'm super excited. So if you don't know me, I'm Kylie. I am an Emerald leader on the team. And I've been in this business for just over 3 years. I started 3 years ago last month. So I celebrated 3 years last month. And 3 years ago, we had just moved to Georgia. My husband is an active duty Marine. So we've been all over the country. And my background and experience and knowledge has always been in the medical field. I got a job as a full-time CMA, but down here in the South, if you don't know, is very it's just very poverty stricken. So even the highest, most respected jobs do not get paid very well. There's barely any opportunity for growth in this town. So when they told me that I was only going to be getting paid $13 an hour, that was kind of a slap in the face because I was coming from almost $20 an hour working as a CMA. I was also 8 months pregnant, bringing my first child into the world. And I started my business because I was working 50 to 60 hours a week. I was 8 months pregnant, and I commend all of the women who are able to do this, but I was not able to put on another uniform and work all night after working 50 to 60 hours. You know what I mean? I was 8 months pregnant. And again, I know there are women who do that, but that was just going to take more time away from my husband, take more time away from getting prepared to become a mom, right? So I started this business and I'm just so glad I did. I never saw how much opportunity and growth that there really is here. In my first 3 months, I promoted to Ruby, and I was still working at the hospital, but a year later, literally right before the C word happened, it was 6 weeks before everyone started freaking out. I was able to quit the hospital and come home to my daughter full time. So I've been doing this business full time for about, I think, 2 years now. So that's just my story.
No, yeah, I think we actually both went full time about the same time. When you finally go full time in this business, guys, it is honestly the weirdest feeling. So before we go into the next topic, when I say this, y'all are gonna look at me like I am some dumb human being to be like, how did she forget this in her story? When I say it, I feel like Kylie is gonna be like, yeah, dude, how did you? So I actually triple promoted. I went from an executive to a diamond. So in March of 2019, all of these little plaques you see, minus the very top one, actually all happened March 2019. I didn't sleep. I don't think I ate. There was a lot of tears involved. I was on Zoom 90% of my life. I remember I was sitting in my mom's basement. So I wasn't married. I was sitting in my mom's basement. And I was sending messages, and I looked up at my now husband, and I was like, was I sending, what was I doing? And he's like, I think you were asleep. So I literally was working so much that I was dreaming that I was sending messages the month that I promote. And it was honestly just insane. But I remember that I had to work Easter that year. And I ended up calling out, and my manager was super rude. And I just went diamond, and I was like, I'm just gonna put my 2 weeks notice in when I get back. And then I left the next week, and it was honestly just insane to do. So the first topic, and this is Kylie's livelihood. Ironically, Kylie's my direct downline. So Kylie actually went Ruby when I went diamond. She's my direct downline, and we didn't become best friends until a year and a half ago. We worked together for so long, and then COVID happens, and then we were just on Zoom 24/7. But this is Kylie's forte, this first topic, y'all. So if there's anything you write down, it's just everything Kylie says. Just do it, hands down. And it is mindset. And this is such a funny thing for me. And I think for me and Kylie both, because we're both we try to be positive people on social media. I mean, we work a full-time business from social media. So you kind of need to be positive because nobody wants to watch super negative stories or posts. But at the same time, me and Kylie both believe that we are not the most positive people out. Y'all, so you get the gist of literally what I'm saying. It's like, I ordered Chipotle tonight, and I told Kylie, I like ranted in our group chat. I told Kylie, I ordered Chipotle tonight. I'm also on my period. I'm super emotional. Ordered Chipotle, grabbed the bag when DoorDash got there. My chips and queso wasn't in there, and I cried. Like, had a mental breakdown over chips and queso. And then my husband ordered me more chips and queso because I called him crying. He's a truck driver. And then the next delivery gets here, and there's no chips to eat my queso with. I don't know how that happened to me tonight. Cried, full mental breakdown. Why did it happen? I mean, I know, but like rationally, what? I think that's important because no amount of personal development you do, you're still gonna have moments where you're just like, I hate my life. And yes, I say that over chips and queso. I'm dramatic. It's okay. But I love the topic of mindset. And me and Kylie are both very different with personal development and mindset, though, because Kylie really thrives on like the inspirational side of personal development. Like she thrives on like she reads it and she just feels good when she's done. It's like, oh, that was breath of fresh air. That was amazing. I read those and I'm such a skeptic. I'm like, wow, your life's pretty great. You just wrote a book about it. Like that was amazing for you. I thrive on books that are like the 5-second rule from Mel Robbins, or I just finished Sell or Be Sold. And I think that they are very important books. And I think that when you look at personal development, if you are anything like me when I started, I thought it was just a bunch of hocus pocus. Everyone kept telling me mindset, personal development. And I was like, this is the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life. Who does personal development? That's a waste of time. Also, I grew up strict drill sergeant kid. Both my parents were active military when they met. My brother served. I met my husband active. Like, just military mindset where you're like, what the hell is personal development? Who's wasting their time on that? Me. I do now. It's everything. I do personal development hours a day. And I'm going to let Kylie take like the majority of time on this topic. But there's a couple of things that I just wanted to share with you guys. For one, you have to find what works for you. So if we're being completely honest, if you know me at all, you follow me on social media at all, I read a lot. Like I physically read books like a hobby. Like I literally have my personal development book right here. There's stacks of books around my house that are personal development. And you just have to know what works for you. I don't like podcast. I'm not a podcast person. I've tried the audiobook trend because it's cool and like I want to be cool. Can't do it. I get so distracted halfway through the podcast. I can't tell you what it's about. I'm like, what did I just listen to? Don't know. I'm not a big devotional person. I'm very spiritual. I'm very big in my faith. I struggle with devotionals, and I think it's because it's an everyday thing. So I can't do it because I won't do it, to be completely honest. And that sounds terrible. I love classes. I know Jade Hooper has talked about her personal development journey and that she takes like courses and like mastermind classes. And I love that. I'm actually taking, and if you're on here, she's most likely your upline, is I'm taking Hope Weston's 6 Weeks to Self-Love course. And I'm going to share some of the things really quick from that. Is the biggest thing I recommend for your mindset is you have to remove people, not necessarily from your life, but from social media who is not benefiting your mind, like your mind space, like what's in there. And if you, and I also want to say this with all of the love in my heart, is you can still love them and not want them on social media. And it can be for a massive array of things. And I just want to say that you protecting your own mindset and your own like just space in your head for not negative, or if something's going to bring you down in the middle of the day, you have every right to protect yourself. Like that is valid. It doesn't mean you hate this person. So once again, be completely honest. My two best friends, literally in the entire world, is Miss Kylie Popps right here and Hope Weston, who enrolled me, became best friends with them. Hope literally stayed at my house before we went to Nashville. But at the same time, I had to message Hope a couple of weeks ago, and I was like, hey girl, I got to remove you from Facebook for a little while and from Instagram. I love you. I'm not doing it for any negative reason, but she was going through a season of her life dealing with COVID, and just me after losing my dad to COVID, I just, in the middle of the day, I was watching her stories and I would just cry. And I was like, ooh, that was not supportive to my healing. at all. It didn't mean that I didn't love Hope. It didn't mean that her emotions and her expressing it wasn't valid. Like, she can feel however she feels, and that is completely valid. But also my need to not have it on my Instagram timeline, because I'm a scroller. I will scroll through stories. It's a trait I'm trying to break, but I haven't yet. So I scroll. But it was also valid that I had to remove that. I've now re-added her. It's not like I'm not ever gonna have her on Facebook or Instagram again. But you have to do what works best for you, and that might hurt someone's feelings. But it is not your responsibility to care for someone else's feelings. It's your responsibility to protect yourself and your own kind of vibe and your energy. So I'm gonna let Kylie jump in, and I'm also gonna take notes of Kylie's mindset stuff, because she's literally the master at it. So just literally everything she says, it's gold.
Wow, thank you. Jillian is right. I spend so much time on personal development, and I feel like when you are, looking at personal development from like the outside, you're just like, well, okay, but this really isn't like an income producing activity. But you can literally quote us when we say, the more personal development that you do, the more zeros that you're going to add to the end of your paycheck. And it's because when you're doing personal development, that is literally changing the way that you think. It's changing your thoughts, and it's changing the inside of your heart. It's also going to change like your work ethic and your conversations and like your time management, which is another subject that we're going to be talking about. So I just want you to keep that in mind. This really is like a personal development course with a comp plan. And Jillian is so right. You have to do something that feels good to you. So there's so many different things that you can choose from. And guess what? We even have them in our boards app. So Hope Weston just added a whole folder of motivational videos that you can find on YouTube. She has a bunch of them in that folder. So go to boards, open up Hustle and Script or Hustle and Heart scripts, and you're going to find a folder that says like I think it's personal growth or personal. Let me just look real quick, because it's called Learn and Grow. So when you click on that, there's going to be personal development, motivational videos, books, Zooms, podcasts. Yeah, I don't know if you want to share that, Jillian, but there's so many different options for you. And I just want you to find something that works for you. Okay. I've heard Christy Christensen, she likes to wake up, and the very first thing that she does is turn on a motivational video, like a motivational speech on YouTube. There was another top leader who the first thing that they do when they wake up is they write down 3 gratitudes. Okay. They just have a journal next to their bed, and they're starting their day with gratitude. That is like, personal development. That is getting you into the attitude of gratitude, right? And Jillian is so right. I spend so much time on my affirmations, my journaling. I have like 2 or 3 different journals for like 2 or 3 different things. I have like 2 devotionals. I have my Bible. I have a Bible study. I have books, and I have podcasts. And so I just have like so many different things, and I spend a lot of time on it. And do you guys ever look at okay, so this is something new that I learned about personal development. And to me, like, it just makes sense. Do you ever look at our daily task list and you see that one of the tasks is, it either says like spend 30 minutes on personal development or spend like 60 minutes on personal development. And I heard a top leader, I think it was Marissa Alvarado, she shared this with us, and she was like, who says that it has to be 30 minutes? Who says that it has to be 60 minutes? Like, why are we putting a time on it? your personal development should, like the amount of time you should spend on it is when you feel good. So if I'm reading a book for like, if it takes me like 15 minutes to read a book or 15 minutes to read a devotional, and I feel good on the inside of my heart, and I feel like my mind and my thoughts are changing, that's when you have your personal development for the day. If it takes you an hour, spend an hour. If it takes you 20 minutes while you're getting ready, take 20 minutes. But you should do what works best for you. YouTube videos are not going to be for everybody. Podcasts are not going to be for everybody. These little promises from God, affirmation cards, okay, these are not going to be for everybody. You just have to find what is going to float your boat, and then you have to do it long enough to feel the change on the inside. And that is when your personal development is done for the day. So that's what I have for personal development.
I love that. I also want to add though, if you're like me, I advocate for ADHD a lot just because I feel like there's not, when I was diagnosed, I was a full-fledged adult, y'all. I was 21 when I got an ADHD diagnosis. And let me clarify, it wasn't an adult ADHD diagnosis. It was how the heck have you not been diagnosed before you've had this your entire life? They stopped me in the middle of a doctor's appointment and she's like, are you ADHD? And I was like, no. And she's like, She's like, no, I think you are. And then 2 hours later, I had left with a new diagnosis. And I was like, wow, that was fun. So if you're like me and you have to put a time limit on it, that's okay too. Because if I tell myself just do personal development when it feels good to me, it's not going to happen. If it is not physically scheduled into my day or on a to-do list with a little time slot next to it, it won't happen. And that's just the honest truth about me. I'm not kidding, y'all. Let me show this to you. This is going to kind of go into like our next topic. And then also, I think our next topic was organization, or was it goal setting? It was one of those two. Goal setting, right? Okay. I had it written down but couldn't remember. This is what my life looks like. I live on digital planners. Everything's color coordinated. There's a little in the corner, there's a little work to-do list. It's the way my life, it's the only way my life is going to work out. And that's a-okay, but it has to be scheduled and written down, because literally if it's not, if you're on my team, there's a 10,000% chance at least one time in our lives, I'm going to forget we had a coaching call. It's not out of like my dislike. I don't dislike you. It's just I literally forgot we had it because I forgot to write it down. That happened on Monday. On Tuesday, I had to message one of my girls and be like, I'm so sorry. For the life of me, I'm so sorry. It's like we had a coaching call and I just forgot that it was a thing. So if you have to write it down, you got to write it down. If you can just go for it, I think that's honestly amazing, because I think growing your mind when you are open to like actually growing is one thing, versus growing your mind because it's an obligation. They're going to feel different when you leave. And that's just the truth of it. The next thing, these next two topics are also what me and Kylie thrive on, just as like green-yellow personality types. It's just in our bloodstream to be organized psychopaths. It's just the way our lives work, and that's okay. The next one we're going to talk about is goal setting. And I love this in this business, and I think it's really important in network marketing in general, but also it's been a big thing in my life. And my parents always joked with people that I had a 5-year plan since I was 12. I did. We're not even going to, I did. And if you turn right there, that is my little pretty dream board for 2022. And I also want to say that I think, I don't know how to word this. I also love that I have Kylie on here with me too, because once again, we come from very different perspectives in the way life is. But also I love that Kylie's on my team, because I feel like me and her have walked in the same general perspective, because I also was a military wife when we first got married, and the military is a joy when it comes to finances. We went 2 months without BAH, and my business was the only reason we had a house over our head for 2 months. And it's a very big thing. But also, I have had to sit down. When I went to Nashville, I sat down with both Kylie and Hope. And once again, we're being real raw and honest here, because I don't think it's going to benefit anybody for me and Kylie to say that we've had the best 3 and 4 years in this business and everything's been perfect and nothing sucked, because that's not reality. When I went to Nashville, I literally looked at Kylie and Hope and I was like, I don't think I'm passionate about It Works anymore. Like, I hit a point in my life and I hit a point in my business where I was like, I don't know if this company is for me anymore. And I said that with the full knowledge that I probably wasn't quitting. It was like 10% of my brain was like, this isn't for you. And then 90% was like, you love this company too much, like you're not leaving. And obviously I didn't leave. I'm right here with you guys. But I think it's very important to say that no matter how secure you think you are in this business, you're going to have moments where you're like, is this for me? And it might be life changes. It might be finance changes. You may have just changed as a person in general, and that's completely fine. Mine was kind of a mix of everything. But I also think that goal setting was really weird for me growing up, because a lot of people, when they join this business, you hear a lot of stories of like, people in low income families growing up. They've always known struggle, or they're still struggling really aggressively. And if we're being completely honest, that wasn't my childhood and that wasn't my life. I grew up middle upper class. I had a 2-parent income. I've lived in the same house. My mom still lives in the same house that me and my brother grew up in. We had a pool of, like, if you could think of the sporting equipment, we had it. I just had to look at my parents and say, I want to play soccer. And we're like, okay, bet, let's go find you a soccer team. Like, I didn't have that poverty childhood. And I feel like joining this business, I felt like I couldn't relate to my team, because a lot of my team were coming to me and they were like, oh, like, we just didn't know that lifestyle. And I didn't. So when I started goal setting, I was like, what do I even want? Like, it felt selfish for me to want a life that was better than what I grew up with. Because once again, until I was 17, I literally wanted for nothing. And I don't mean that in like the necessities. Like, I didn't want for anything. And then I got married. I got married at 20 years old, which, don't regret it. Was I a child though? Yeah. I got married when I was still a child. I met my husband at 18. Got married a year and a half later. We've been together 4 years now. But I was a child and money hit us hard in the face, kicked me while I was down. The Army was holding our BAH for 2 months. And if you don't know, that's like your housing allowance. So that's basically the only way people can have a home in the military, is this housing allowance, and we didn't have it. So our goal setting was a lot of just paying bills. And that's okay. If you had to close your eyes right now and think of like, what does your more look like? And that's just paying bills, that's fine. Because me and Kylie have both been there, where we didn't dream of elaborate houses and brand new cars, and we didn't dream of like 15 kids and being a stay-at-home mom. We dreamed of paying rent on time. We dreamed of not having our phone shut off. Y'all, being real and raw, I've had my car repoed since being married. Do you know how hard that was to go from being middle upper class my entire life and then having my car repoed? I was like, what? And then my goal was like, I just never want my car repoed again. I wasn't dreaming of a house. I was just like, damn, I don't want to come home to not having my car in the driveway. Like, what? And that's goal setting. And that is, in just complete honesty, that goal setting doesn't have to be big and extravagant, but also it's just whatever you need it to be to keep you focused. So once again, me and Kylie are in very different points of life, and me and a lot of people in this business are, and this is also why I had that very weird moment with my business and my passion for it, is that we went from this being our sole income, and like me quitting this was like, we're going to be homeless, to my husband has a really good job now. My husband got out of the Army. He started driving a semi truck. We started making really good money. So his business went from like a life or death feeling to like, just do it for entertainment. And I mean, I don't do it for just entertainment, but like, that's how it was feeling. So my goals now look like how I told you that we're manifesting that 4K bonus, paying for our anniversary trip and things like that. So I just want you guys to have goal setting to be the most honest point. I want you to take a real close look at what do you want your goal setting to be. And this is the biggest thing that sometimes gets in like not quite found when we talk about it is I want it to be attainable in the next year for you. If you look at your life right now and it's like buying a home or like paying off all your debt, is that plausible? Because being real, even if I was making triple diamond paycheck last year, we still wouldn't have paid off all of our debt. We have a lot of it. So that wouldn't have been an honest goal to set for a 12-month period. So I just want you guys to be super honest when you're like with yourselves when you are saying, this is what my goal is. Also, the last thing for goal setting, I want to share with you about like setting a dream income. And this was said last year. This was said a year ago, and I have not stopped thinking about it. And it was Kelly Brown who said this. Love her. She's my favorite person in the entire world. I know it's like one of Kylie's favorite leaders too. But she said that, and when this was said, y'all, I bawled like a baby, and that's okay. But she sat there and she was like, close your eyes and tell me, what income did you say you wanted to make when you first started this business? And this goes back to mindset a little bit too. And it says, what was the income you said you wanted to make when you started this business? She said $50. I said 200. I said an executive paycheck. That's what I wanted. I was like, I'm joining for $200. Did you know people right out of the freaking gates are saying that they're going to go ambassador? Like 2 days in this business, like I'm going to go ambassador. I was like, I just wanted $200. Like, what are you on? Like, can I get some of that? And you're like, let's go ambassador. You've been in for 2 days. That reflects what you think you are worth. Your base income when you join this business, you saying I'm joining for $50, I'm joining for 200 meant that you were limiting what you thought your income, like what you thought you could make and what you deserve to make. So I want all of you to leave here and say, I'm going to go ambassador. I'm going to see that. I'm screw ambassador. I keep telling my husband that we're going Black Diamond. If you guys don't know what that is, it's a lot. It's a scary lot. But once, yeah, it's like that's the highest rank. And I always tell my husband, I'm like, we're going to go Black Diamond. Why? I don't know, but we're going to do it because that's what we're worth. And I think it's just so important to lay down exactly like what you're going to do. And then you have a solid game plan in place for how you're going to do it. So if you want to unmute yourself, Kylie, and give your opinion on this. I love talking goals. I'm very not a red person. Kylie can attest to this. I'm not red. Very few personality traits of mine are very like in your face. This probably seems very deceiving because I like public speaking. I'm not red though. I'm very hide in the corner of my life. But I grew up military. Like once again, my dad served 22 years. He met my mom while she was serving her contract. And the military is very goal setting. Like you're constantly looking at what's next in your career. And my dad just like forced that mindset on me and my brother. So we constantly would like hit a goal and we're like, okay, what's next? Like what's the next step of the ladder to get to where we want to go? But I love it.
Yeah. All of that was so good. And I absolutely, I think I can remember when Kelly Brown literally said that, and it's so true. And you know what? I don't think people realize that, because when I said yes to this business and I had to wait 2 paychecks in order to be able to join, I was like, I'm doing this for just $200. Like if I can make $200 extra every single month, that will literally make us like floating on top of the water, not necessarily getting ahead, but we wouldn't be behind. And I just think that is so interesting what you said from Kelly Brown. So for goal setting, I just have a couple of things. Definitely a dream board. So like if you haven't this year, you got to make a dream board. And I'm talking to myself because mine is not finished. So mine is not finished. But I did start it, and there's definitely some things that I want to add on there. So yeah, get your dream board for the year done. And I normally post it like right here above my, my iPad so that I can see it every single morning. And I like to do a dream board visualization in the morning when it's finished, of course, and hanging up on my wall, of course. But what I do is I just like, I go through every single goal and every single thing that I have on my board. And I just literally envision myself like already claiming those goals. Like I already have what is written on my board. So that is something that I also do along with my personal development in the morning. Again, I am talking to myself because I got to get that dream board done. But another thing that I actually started doing, and this wasn't necessarily said on a Zoom, but I saw one of the leaders holding a clipboard. Okay. She was holding a clipboard, and you know what she had on it? She had the 4K bonus trackers. It was the very first page on her clipboard. She carries this around with her everywhere so that her goals and her progress are right in front of her face. So I have been doing this, and it's really helping me keep track of like the loyal customers that I need left for my bonus. It's helping me keep track of Bria and how she's doing, because she's going to be earning bonuses too. So this is just a great way to keep your goals and your progress just kind of like right in front of your face all day. It's on my desk with me. So it's right here. It's like easy. I don't have to flip pages or anything like that. And, you know, I guess, you know, I'm more of a paper person. So I guess if you're more like digital, you could make it like your lock screen or your background or whatever. But I just think this is a great idea because it's right here. It's in the like front of my mind. And I can just look at the progress. So I know exactly what I need. I know exactly what I need. And I thought that was really cool. So now I'm using a clipboard with my tracker on it. But another thing that I love, and I know Hope would say this as well, is, and it totally makes sense. So when you come into this business, you are allowed to dream so freaking big. And it's just like, you're allowed to dream bigger than the entire world. And you want to start, like, it's okay to start with like that big vision. But like Hope has gone over this before, and it's basically like that is what you want, that is okay to do, but you also want to, on the other side of that, chop it back. Because how are you going to get from where you are to that big, you know, black diamond paycheck or ambassador diamond paycheck, right? You've got to chop it back. Where are you going to start? What are the small actions that you can start doing now to get to ambassador diamond or black diamond? So I love the chop it back method. And I think it takes a lot of the pressure off. It takes the timeline off. And for me personally, that just feels better when I have like something smaller to start with, so that I know like I'm taking it step by step, you know. And I think, you know, God's timing is always perfect. And I think the journey is like, it's even more important to me now than my like what's ahead, than actually reaching ambassador diamond, you know. So I think doing those smaller actions, the baby steps, chopping it back, is also going to make you fall in love with the journey, which is very important. So that's what I have for goal setting, and this has like been a major game changer for me. So get your trackers, print them out, highlight them, make sure you've got it in front of your face.
Yeah, like you need to have it like stare at it every single day, know exactly what you're working for. I also love the chop it back. And another way to look at it is if you look at my dream board and like you actually look at like the price points on my dream board, it ranges. Also, when I say this, don't judge me. I am bougie. We always joked in my family that if you sent me and my brother into like a clothing store or honestly any store, and he told us to pick between like two basically identical clothing pieces, we will always pick the more expensive one without meaning to. And it's just the honest truth. Our family, we like designer things. Do I own many of them? No. Would I like to? That's a different story. But my dream board ranges, y'all, from like 150 to a home. A $400,000 house. So it ranges between a wide realm of things. Also, your dream board. The last thing I'm going to say about goal setting is this is obviously a business Zoom. So we're talking about this to help set your goals for 4K. Also, y'all, set your goals for like not necessarily business. The best thing about this business is that there is a support group of women who just want to see you succeed. That's not limited to this business. Do you guys, so I'm a gym rat. If you guys follow me on Instagram, you know this, or Facebook. I am a gym rat. My husband is not home a lot. Do you know how many times Kylie and Hope has gotten selfies where I'm like, I just gotta send my flex to you guys. Just look at that shoulder definite. And they're like, what the hell is she doing? But I'm like, just look at it. See how great my shoulder looks. I like this. She's crazy. And that's okay. But my dream board literally has like, I want to hit a new PR. So I put the exact weight on my dream board. I want to squat 150 pounds before my birthday. It's on my dream board. And it's fine to have these goals that aren't necessarily business related, but they're your passions. And I think that's amazing is that there's literally a support group of women who are cheering you on no matter whether they understand why you're obsessed with it or not. And that's okay. So the next thing we're talking about is this is going to be super, okay, I'm going to say fast for me, but once again, we've learned I talk a lot. It's what I do with my life. It's my quirk. It's my little charm. But we are doing, ironically, time management because I don't have that great. And mine's going to be very aggressive just because once again, I struggle with severe ADHD. I am so far on the spectrum. So I already don't know how to do time management and my brain just can't figure it out. Send prayers. Every day is a challenge in my life to do a task list, but my time management is going to be super red. Once again, I'm not a red person, but I have those few sections in my life, and time management is one of those. Get a planner. Get a planner. I always say this again, also on every Zoom I've ever been on, is that I'm a person of 3. So if I say it 3 times, I truly mean it. Get a planner. That's my third. If you don't have a planner, I'm going to be real. What are you doing? That's super blunt. We are all busy people. Even if you are a 23, like I'm almost 23, I'm a child. I don't have kids. I get that I'm like less busy than like someone with another human being to take care of. I'm still busy enough and it's not written down. I'm not doing it. Get a planner. You don't have to be a psychopath with it like I am, and that's okay. But you need to write down your non-negotiables. Every Sunday, sit down, write down the things that it is not a joke. Like you are doing this, hell or high waters, like it is happening, whether I die trying. So just for example, the things that I put down every week is, because once again, I don't have a kid. So like my responsibilities are a lot less than everyone probably on here. Or like on my team, but that's cool. So my priorities and my non-negotiables is once again the gym. We've already mentioned I'm a gym rat. I literally have a personal trainer. I work out 6 days a week. I take spin classes, like my life literally depends on it. I write down my gym. It's pink, if you must know. I color coordinate it. So every Sunday, I write down my gym times. I write down personal training classes. I write down my family time. I'm so family oriented. Every Thursday, I get lunch with my mom. Every Tuesday, I do dinner at her house. I write that down because it's non-negotiable for me. It is going to happen because it is important. I write down intentional work time. That's important. I don't know about you, but when I ask this question, I want you to be 100% honest. Do you work your business intentionally or do you scroll on social media? Because that's not the same. If you set a timer for 1 hour, That means you're not scrolling on social media. I've had this conversation with Kylie, and I've had it with myself in my business, is that my intentional work time means that I am intentionally building my personal business. And when I say that, I mean, I have it scheduled in like hour sections, and I try to do 3 1-hour long power hours a day. And I'm not replying to anybody. Unless you text me as a friend and you're like, hey, my house just burned down, you're probably not going to get a reply from me until my power hour is done. And that's just the hard truth, because that time is spent for me sending my messages and me building my business. It's not for me to reply to my team, because there's no such thing as a rap emergency. Hate to break it to anybody. I'm not replying to group chats. I'm working my business. I'm not watching training videos. I'm not watching TikToks. I'm also not making content in this time. And that was a hard pill for me to swallow when I started looking at time management, because I don't make content during my intentional work time. Because if I have to make content, I can make one live post and it takes 10 minutes, or I can send out like 40 messages in 10 minutes. You should be prepping your content in advance. Once again, we're being super real here. You should be prepping your content. Every Sunday, I write all my life posts. I write all of my simple posts. I try to take pictures on like Monday after the gym. I do my hair and makeup. I change my outfit a bunch, and I just run around my house trying to force my dog to take pictures with me. Life of a dog mom. Yeah, no, I literally host a prepping Zoom on Sundays. Thanks, Kylie. Don't know how I forgot that. I host it. Thanks for that. I literally have a prepping Zoom where we just listen to music and get ish done. It's the best thing you can do for your business, is have your prep, like everything prepped in advance. It's just, I hate to be like this, but it is not hard to be organized. We say it is, especially your time. If you have your work schedule, sit down and put that in your planner in advance. If you literally, okay, this is like the military coming out in me. Also, those knife hands, military. I always catch myself. I do them when I'm like passionate. Yeah, Kylie's like, oh. The military right there is, if you ever come to me in this business and you're on my team and you're like, I just don't have the time, I'm gonna be super red. I have no compassion for you saying I don't have the time. And let me tell you why I say that. Do you know when I promoted, like what my life looked like before I did this full time? I was working 70 hours a week at 2 jobs that I hated. And you're probably like, yeah, Jillian, cool, I work too. Yeah, I feel like most people work and they have lives. I was also a double major, taking 18 hours at my state university. Why did I take 18-hour semester? I don't know, because I hate myself. That's why I did it. And also, they weren't easy classes. I didn't choose easy majors. I was a journalist major and I was a political science major with a Spanish minor. Don't ask me anything in Spanish. I didn't get that far in my degree. Don't ask me that one. But I have an associate's in both politics and journalism, and they're the hardest things I've ever done in my life. I was also in a new relationship. And if you've ever been in a new relationship, they take time and effort because you're trying to be fake. Be honest. I was trying to be a lot cooler than I am now. Now my husband catches me crying about queso and chips that didn't get delivered. He wouldn't have done that when I met him. And I was like changing in my car. Y'all, I would wake up at 8 a.m. for my first class, stay on campus until noon, and then I would change in the back seat of my car into that ugly little grocery store polo and my pants. And I'd drive over to the grocery store, work my 8-hour shift, and then I would change in the bathroom at the grocery store to go to my second job. And then I'd go home and do homework for hours. And that was life. And I still promoted and I still made an income and worked my business in those time frames. Was it a lot of tears involved? Yeah, we're going to be honest. I cried a lot, and that's okay, because I saw what success looked like. I saw it on other people and I knew that I could do it. And I knew I was working so that I could quit those jobs. Like, that was my goal back then. I was like, screw these 2 jobs. I hate them with my life. So I was working to change that. So if you look at me and you say, I just don't have time, the first thing, and if you've ever come to me and you have ever said this, you know this to be true. The first thing I will tell you to do is you can go get them on Pinterest, right? If you type in on Pinterest and you just type in block schedule, printable sheets, block schedule, you will get something That is literally a block schedule. Not this exactly, because this is my digital planner I paid a lot of money for, because I'm a psychopath. You get a block schedule. This literally starts at 5 o'clock. I'm not awake at 5 o'clock, let's be honest. So that's why there's nothing for like 6 hours. Starts at 5 o'clock and it goes until 10:30. Get this, if you tell me you don't have time, I'm going to tell you to go get a free printable one, don't even pay for it, and I'm going to have you put in all of your non-negotiables, your family, your work, classes, and then you're going to see all those like little spots in your day where you didn't have time really meant that you were probably scrolling, and I'm talking to myself. I was probably scrolling TikTok, probably watching 15 episodes of Sons of Anarchy in my bedroom by myself, reading books. You always have time. It's what are you prioritizing in your life to fill that time with? And that's the biggest thing. And time management feels really hard when you've never had to do it, but you just have to be real with yourself. What is the biggest priorities in my life? Like what is going to fill those time slots? And if you don't say your business, I'm going to be super real that you're probably not going to see the success that you want, because your business has to be a priority on your time schedule. And that's just my tips for it. And it's not going to be easy. The first probably month you have a time schedule or like just routine at all, it's going to suck. It's going to suck. But then you get used to it. Like everything else in life, you're going to kind of get used to it and just move forward, and you're just going to grow with it to like make it something that works for you. But those are my tips for it. So I want to hear Kylie's, because we both love checklists and planning. It's our passions.
Yeah, and you know what? It's very funny because I'm in a season of my life where I'm actually trying to figure out a better schedule or routine for myself, just because I have a toddler. She's about to turn 3, but she's really going on like 16. So she no longer wants to nap all of a sudden. So yeah, I'm kind of in a season where I'm just trying to figure it out. So I kind of want to do like a 2-part to organization and time management. So like Jillian said, get a planner. Yeah, girl, she's got a 2022 planner. You can go to the dollar store, you can go to Walmart, you can go to Target. They all have planners, and they're very inexpensive. Okay, they're like, I don't know, $8.99, $10.99. This is what mine looks like. Okay, I color coordinate everything, but this is like the full like layout for January for me. I have Zooms. Zooms are so important. Make sure you write us in every Friday night, because we'll be coming at you with either a power hour or a training. I have Sunday night Zooms with Jillian to prep all of my content for the week. Work smarter, not harder. Okay. I have my power hours that I do on Zoom at 3:00 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Monday through Friday. Those are all in here. So basically I have Zooms all scheduled out. I also have Sunday mornings scheduled out where I'm watching a sermon. I also have Thursday evenings. I'm part of a prayer warrior group with my Bible study, women's Bible study. I have that on Thursday evening. So I know every single day of the week what I'm going to be doing basically, and like where I need to be. And then when it comes to like the daily or the like weekly, that's what it looks like. But I also love this one because I've been starting, so not on this one, hang on. Okay. So on this side, I've been writing follow-up dates. Like when my potentials are giving me dates, they're like, I'm sorry, I can't do it. Like I can't do an order this Friday, but I get paid next Friday. You know what I'm doing? I'm grabbing my planner and I'm writing their name down next Friday, because I know that I check this every single day and they're going to be on the forefront of my mind. Okay, these are the 2 people that said they're ordering today. And that's how I've been using my planner, basically, pretty much. Time management, yeah, you have to be willing to be intentional with your time. And it is so hard, but I will tell you, it is one of the most precious things that you have to protect. And it's not just with this business, okay? Because none of us started this business to be working it 8, 10, 12 hours a day, right? Like, tell me in the chat, do you want to be working this business 8, 10, 12 hours a day? No, you do not. We started this business because it fits into our schedule. So that means that we have other things going on, right? You might be working, you might have a job, you might have a family, you might have date night, you might have school, you know what I mean? Yes, Kimberly found a planner at Walmart that actually has work and home slots on each day. Amazing. Amazing. That's amazing. I love that. And yeah, so with time management, I think you just have to be willing to completely be intentional with your time. And it's a hard habit to start doing. But I also have a binder, and the very first thing is, this is supposed to be my schedule if I didn't have a toddler. Okay. So, you just have to find what works for you. Excuse me. And you have to just be super intentional with your time. Now, I want to do a second part to this because I thought it was so amazing when I heard this. Okay. Morgan McIntyre Martin, that lady. Okay. She just had a baby. She's been in this business for like 6 or 7 years. She's like, what, presidential diamond. She's incredible. She just became a mom, and the way that she works this business has changed for her. And I love what she said. Because I think when you throw the word out there, like balance, that there's just so many different, ideas about it and around having balance. Like, tell me in the chat, is it hard for you to find balance between working this business, going to your job, making sure that you have time with your family, all of those things, right? So she said balance versus blending. And it just means that it's 100% more of a blend than a balance. Yeah, absolutely. Because even during my 3 p.m. Host to post power hours, Jillian, how many times do you see Charlotte? Right? I'm trying to like do my best and guide.
You guys just need entertainment. Just get on that, because her child. I always tell Kylie, I'm like, how does it feel to know that I'm just exploiting you because your kid's my best friend? Love Charlotte, but also Kylie gets 1,000 prayers a day from me because she's literally raising a 16-year-old in a 3-year-old's body. She's amazing. Also, she like walks in on Zooms and Kylie's like, what do you want? And she's like, snack. Or she's just like, and Kylie's like, do you want to say hi? And she's like, no. She's like, no, I don't. It's just so bad. Yeah, Kylie.
So Charlotte is slightly crazy. So that's kind of like what blend looks like to me. I do have my power hours set, and I might be a minute or two late sometimes because I'm like changing diapers or whatever. But those are like a non-negotiable for me. And I think they're amazing. I try to be like helpful and guide you guys through that. But that's a non-negotiable for me. And Charlotte shows up sometimes, and you know what? It's just a blend. So give yourself grace, especially if you're a mom. Okay, just give yourself the grace, but also just really like put forward that like willingness to have intentionality when you do sit down, because I think Amy Spence said this, but she was like, a lot of people, especially in this business, waste a lot of time. Like, how much further could you be to your goals or done with your tasks for the day if you sat down for just 1 hour and did your entire task list? You weren't scrolling, you weren't looking for dinner recipes, you weren't shopping online, right? So I think it's just having intentionality and just being willing to focus and set aside time, like working hours. I also have finally got it done. It's the middle of January. Don't mind me, but I finally I got my whiteboard done, and I have a whiteboard in our kitchen. And I can't say that Corey is successful in looking at it every single day to know what I'm doing, but that's what it's there for. That's my communication to my family members, to my husband, like, hey, on Monday at this time, like, count me out, dude. I'm going to be on a Zoom. Or on Friday at this time, I have a coaching call with one of my new girls. Count me out, like, mom is off duty. So I think that's another important thing, is to also communicate, you know, maybe it's with your family members, maybe it's with your, you know, your husband or your significant other. Communicate like your office hours, or communicate like your schedule, just so that they know, like, okay, you're going to be intentional with your time. And I think that's all I got.
No, I love that. And I completely agree. I feel like significant others look at those lists and they're still surprised when you're like in the office. My husband has managed, once again, my husband's a truck driver, so he's gone like 3 weeks out of the month. Hardest thing in my life. But my husband definitely calls me like directly at 2 p.m. when I get on Kylie's power hour, like every day. I'm like, what are you doing, dude? I'm like, literally, this isn't new. I've been doing this forever. So we are going to close this out in a few minutes. And the last thing we're going to do is just kind of like catch all tips that we want to share with you guys. And one of my favorite things that I have started doing in the last, I want to say 2 months, I talked to Hope about it over conference when we were at Nashville, and I just kind of started adding it back into my life. And that is, y'all have to be intentional with what your social media looks like. And I'm not saying that to say that it has to look like something you're not, but you have to have it to be cohesive, and it has to be about who you are. And I struggled with this a lot because I struggle so hard with the comparison game. So I would look at people like Cheyenne Knox and like Morgan Martin, and I would be like, I don't look like that. Like, I don't do that. That's not me. And then I felt that I couldn't be successful because I didn't look like that and I didn't do those things. And I was like, they have so much interaction and so much communication on their pages. And then it finally snapped that they have so much interaction on their pages is because they're being authentic to who they are, and they are bringing in like-minded people. And that's the big thing to do. So if you had to sit down after this Zoom, and I would want you to pick 5 things about you. 5 things. If the world should know about you, what are those 5 things? Mine is that I'm a wife. I am a dog mom. I read way too many books. Literally, it is my addiction. I'm super hippie, super indie and boho, and I'm also a gym rat. Those are my 5 things. And if you went and looked at my Instagram story or like my feed right this second, you would most likely see all 5 of those things in my story from just the last 24 hours. So that means people coming on my page know who I am and can immediately connect to that. And it is building attraction marketing, which is what a lot of network marketing is based off of. Because if you look at Cheyenne Knox and like Morgan Martin and Amy Spence and Rachel Jones and all of these top leaders, their page, they don't talk a lot about it works. They really don't. And that blew me away that they aren't talking about it a ton. What they are doing is they're talking about who they are. So people are going back to their stories to like watch it. And when people ask questions, they're asking questions about who they are, not about the business. Cheyenne right now, her number one brand is a 75 hard. I know that because she's branded herself with it. She likes pink. She likes TJ Maxx. She likes to cook. Like, I can tell you these things because she's authentically posting about them every single day. And I just think it's important that y'all are 100% authentic with what you are and what you want to brand yourself with. Because that's also going to make this business a lot more fun because you're going to be creating content based on what you already like doing. I hate TikTok. Let's be completely honest. I hate making TikToks. I hate making reels. And then I was like, I can make fitness reels. I can just take videos of me lifting weights and post them. Yeah. And they're my most viewed TikToks. You just lifting weights. I was like, dang, I do that every day anyway. So I'm going to talk about it. But it's just nice being authentic about who you are and what you do. So that's just my tip, is just to learn to be 100% authentic on social media. And I'm not saying you have to share every point of your life, because some things you still aren't going to share. And that's just the name of the game. I don't talk about my dad a lot. If you didn't personally know me, you probably didn't even know he passed. And I feel like I'm still blindsiding people on social media with it if you didn't know me or aren't in my community. I just don't talk about it because it's something I prefer not to put online, and that's okay. You can still have things to yourself, but it's just be authentic with your audience because they're following you, not the business. So that's mine, and I want to hear Kylie's tips because she's killing it.
Yeah, I think that is so good. And just to kind of go off of that real quick, the way that you are like branding yourself, the way that you do your personal development, the way that you show up for yourself on a daily basis, the way that you prep your content, the way that you organize yourself and your time management, that is the type of person that you're going to attract. So always just keep that in mind. Your work ethic, the way that you work with a team, and your teammates and your newbies. I mean, you just want to think about like your dream distributor and, embody that like work ethic. Like, what do you want to see your distributors doing? You got to start doing it, right? Those are the type of people that you're going to start attracting. So keep that in mind. That was just kind of like a side note off of like what you said with branding. But I did find two quick notes on goal setting. I had earned an exclusive call with Mike, and he's part of like the corporate team. And he just kind of gave us like a 30-minute call, and it was so good. But one of the things that he said, when it comes to like setting your goals, talking about your goals, and having like a dream board is, where is it? Sorry, real quick, because I want to find it. It was so good, like what he said. So, okay. Yeah. Okay. So you are 42% more likely to achieve your goals when you write them down on paper. So it is so important for you to do that. If you have to do it every single day, as part of like your morning routine, personal development, do it, because that's almost like 50% higher chance of you actually achieving them when you're writing them down. And here is like the best thing that Mike said. He said, don't only write them down, record yourself saying your goals out loud and listen to them every single day. We all have a phone, right? We all have a smartphone or some type of phone. Some of them, I think the iPhones have an actual app for voice memos where you can just record your voice. I'm not sure for like Android or whatever, but do a video, and you don't have to, like, you can put your finger over the camera and just record yourself saying your goals out loud and listen to them in the morning, or if you have to, listen to them throughout the day. And that was like straight from Mike, which is corporate. So that's going to be a golden nugget for you right there. So I wanted to also say one more thing about goal setting. And I want you to tell me in the chat, how many of you have set a goal and you missed it? So type yes or no. How many of you have set a goal and you missed it? That would be me. Yeah, okay. So all of us, right? And I know that you can go through like disappointment, discouragement, all of those type of feelings. But what I want you to remember is that anytime that you set a goal and you get so loud and you get so proud with it all over your social media, and let's say that you do miss it, just remember that it's simultaneously setting you up to get you that much closer. So stop counting yourself out. You still have so much time to go after these 4-in-1 $4,000 bonuses. That's what this is all about, right? That's what this series is going to be all about. So don't count yourself out. Stay on Zoom. Like if you could do anything, Zoom will change your life. I promise you. There's always going to be one person who says one thing that is going to change your business. It's going to change the way that you think. It's going to change your work ethic. It's just going to change everything for you. Yes, congratulations, Lisa. So yeah, there's just too much money to be made. We have $4,000 bonuses, unlimited, to be earning. So I hope that you guys will join us on the next one. And I think that's all I got.
Yes, thank you so much. I loved that. I'm going to stop recording this if I can figure out how to.